For the next half hour, we've got your comics news, gaming reviews, and more. This is...
You motherfucker! Get out of here! Idiot. This is the Save Point!
Hello, Monmouth University. Welcome to the Save Point, your #1 source for anything gaming. I'm your host, Marissa.
And I'm glad to be back, but you can call me Rahman. In today's episode, we have updates from Sony and Nintendo, and Chris will be reviewing Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
We also have comics in the news, today in technology, and instead of Rahman's rants, we have a new segment called Rahman's Reviews.
But first, here's Chris with a killer review of Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
Followed by Dave with your comics in the news.
Let's press start and start the show. By the way, John, thanks for keeping the seat warm for me.
Do you like jump scares? Well, if you do, I think it's time for you to check out the Five Nights at Freddy's series. Recently released, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 concludes the story of the terrifying animatronics and gives us closure on what truly happened. Sorta. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 introduces the newest animatronic, Springtrap, aka the Golden Bonnie. This game is a bit different from the previous 2 installments in that you're only keeping track of one robot, and you can lead him between different rooms by utilizing the Balloon Boy's laughter. Another new feature in this game is the ability to switch between the room view and ventilation system view, where you can close off one vent at a time to stop Springtrap from mutilating you. Now you may be asking, where are the other animatronics? They are there, but in hallucination form. Every few seconds, your ventilation malfunctions and you start to see the ghost versions of every animatronic. This is where things get really scary. Every time they jump scare you, you need to restart the ventilation, leaving you open for a Springtrap attack. Other obstacles that impede your success are audio errors, which will cause the Balloon Boy's voice to project from your security room, and video errors, which makes you unable to see any of the cameras, causing you to lose track of Springtrap. Each of these you will have to reset, leaving you open to attacks. This game is super scary and is sure to keep you on the edge of your seat and keep your heart beating out of your chest, because I know mine has. Overall, I've loved this game series, and if you don't feel like spending hours trying to beat Night 3 or 4 or even 20-20-20 Night, then check out Markiplier's channel on YouTube, where he has beat every single game, every single night, and has uncovered the mystery of Freddy Fazbear's wonderful world of loving robotic stuffing. Well, that's all for our first look at Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Stay tuned for more game reviews. See ya!
What's up, Save Pointers? I'm Dave here with your comics in the news. Marvel has released the final trailer for its next installment in the Avengers franchise, The Avengers Age of Ultron, set to release on May 1st. We got a very dramatic look at Ultron sitting on a throne draped in a red cloak that hides his face. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver can be seen approaching him as he speaks. From what we can tell, it looks like they will ally themselves with Ultron, although the reasons as to why are still unclear. They were villains in the comics before becoming Avengers, so siding with the villain before joining the heroes makes sense for this film. We also got our first look at Avengers Tower, the headquarters of the Avengers. In the first Avengers movie, this was Stark Tower, but the end battle saw all the letters knocked off, so only the A remained. Now it looks like it's been repaired and given a shiny new blue A. We also saw Bruce Banner and Black Widow sharing an intimate moment inside what could be one of Nick Fury's safe houses. They had an emotional connection in the first Avengers movie when Black Widow tried to help contain the Hulk, and that looks to be growing in the sequel. At around the 1 minute 8 second time mark, we got the most amazing, epic, badass, thrilling, fist pump worthy moment of the whole trailer that you can't stop watching because a mind can't comprehend a reason to stop gazing at something so beautiful as this poetry in motion. It's the whole Avengers team tearing across the screen in slow motion. Thor swinging his hammer as he sails through the air, Hawkeye drawing his bow, and Black Widow doing a ninja kick as they jump from a moving jeep, Captain America leaping off a snowbank with a motorcycle, Iron Man rocketing forward, and Hulk looking angry as Avengers assemble indeed. We also got a look at Tony Stark wearing an Iron Man gauntlet, grabbing Loki's staff, which we believe holds the Mind Infinity Stone. As we know from the post-credits scene in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Baron von Strucker has the staff and is using it to experiment on people, which is how Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver get their powers. So if the Avengers defeat him, then they would have possession of the staff. Could Tony use it to give Ultron or the Vision a mind of their own? About 30 seconds later, we're shown a scene atop a speeding truck. Cap throws his shield, which sticks into Ultron's chest. This is notable because in the comics, Ultron is made of unbreakable adamantium metal. The movie could have Ultron's body made from vibranium instead, which is pretty much unbreakable, as it absorbs all vibrations without consequence. So is the shield cutting into his chest, or is it just lodged in there? Perhaps the shield can cut into Ultron because it's also made of vibranium. That would explain the look of surprise on the villain's face. It's impossible to answer from this shot alone, but it'll be interesting to see just how vulnerable Ultron is in the movie. And a note about vibranium. It's the main resource of Wakanda, the African nation that the hero Black Panther rules as king. With him getting a movie in 2018, expect to see lots of setup for this character in this movie, including his arch nemesis, Ulysses Klaue, who we saw in a previous trailer. Next, we're shown Scarlet Witch using her hex powers on Black Widow. Black Widow's eyes turn red, confirming what we thought in previous trailers about Hulk's eyes being red because he was being manipulated by the Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch's powers are probably how we are able to see those flashbacks about a young Black Widow in the Red Room, the Black Widow program that turns little girls into assassins, as glimpsed in the Agent Carter TV show. This final trailer ends with the moment I have been waiting for, our first look at the android Avenger himself, the Vision, who has a glowing yellow headpiece and mechanical eyes that behave just like the iris of a camera. Pretty cool. This week's must-buy comic of the week once again was a difficult choice, but the book I was most excited for this week was Bill and Ted's Most Triumphant Return #1. That's right, Bill and Ted are back in an all-new adventure from comics publisher Boom Studios. If you're a fan of the films like me, this new comic series picks up right where they left off, following the time-traveling historical epic of Excellent Adventure and the turbulent life and death of Bogus Journey. Bill and Ted must now fulfill their destiny as the inspiration for galactic harmony. How can someone hate the Wild Stallions as much as the evil Chuck Denomalous? With the power of time travel, Bill and Ted set their sights on turning a young 27th century Nomalous's non-heinous attitude into something most outstanding in metal. Excellent! Brian Lynch and Jerry Gaylord bring you all the silly humor and likable characters mixed with the cool, historical science fiction you love. Plus, each story will have a backup adventure. This first issue features The Tale of Tech Terror by Brian North and Ian McGinty. That's all for this week's Comics in the News. Tune in next week. Maybe Warner Brothers will finally release the Batman vs. Superman trailer. Probably not, but let's keep our fingers crossed.
Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes!
We'll be back with more gaming news after this short break.
Oh, hey Marissa! Check out this awesome new game! Let them fight. Oh.
Let's play this game. Hey guys, Marissa and John here. Welcome to your Nintendo News. On March 9th, Pokemon Shuffle was updated to version 1.1.2, where Kyogre, most recently seen in Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, as a challenge until March 23rd. The prize for the first competition is a jewel, but it'll be hard to catch, so you'll probably need to buy an upgraded Pokeball for 2,500 coins. Also, the passcode to redeem 4,000 coins was also recently released, so be sure to check that out.
The new Nintendo 3DS XL charging cradle is now on sale on the official store in North America. Charging made easy, apparently. Charging cradles are oddly in demand with Nintendo portable systems. Limited stock of colored charging cradles for the 3DS XL sold like hotcakes. Charging cradles only cost $9 on the Nintendo of America online store, and they only come in one color, black.
Sega has confirmed the release date for Imagi Poch's 3DS title Stellar Glow. The strategic RPG, which had been announced back in 2014, will be launching in Japan on June 4th. The objective of the game was to save the world from crystallization by the evil witch Hilda. The game has a strong focus on music, and Street Pass functionality has also been confirmed. It is currently unknown whether or not Stellar Glow will be launching in the West.
Starting on March 14th, Nintendo will be holding a series of Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U tournaments across Japan, but only for amiibos. Each tournament is limited to 16 players, with each match being played in 8-player Smash. It is unknown whether or not the amiibos will be allowed stat boosts or customizations. They might be as part of the leveling up process, but every match will take place on the battlefield stage. Winners will receive a free amiibo figure as well as a 4-size clear file that each of the participants receive.
On March 10th, GameStop listed a massive Majora's Mask bundle for the 3DS, selling out instantly despite the steep price of $500. In addition to the Majora's Mask edition of the new Nintendo 3DS XL, the bundle came with copies of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D with a special edition guide, The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds, Super Smash Bros., and Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and 8 amiibos: Link, Zelda, Sheik, Toon Link, Mario, Bowser, Pikachu, and Kirby.
After launching in Japan for the 3DS on November 27th, Atlas USA announced that Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold: The Fafnir Night will be released in North America this summer. This will be an enhanced remake of the second game, Etrian Odyssey 2 Heroes of Lagard, with additional story mode added in. However, there is currently no information on whether or not the game will be released in Europe.
Another Earthbound-themed Kickstarter is quickly gaining both backers and popularity. Ship to Shore Fonoko, a boutique record label based in Brooklyn, New York, created the Kickstarter to fund a vinyl album release of the Mother soundtrack, which has never left Japan. The project will require $42,000 to pay licensing, production, and other related fees, and has so far made just over $8,000. Sounds like music to our ears. Anyway, that's all for your Nintendo news. Tune in next time for more exciting news and updates.
We are taking another short break, but we'll be right back after these messages.
Swag. Swag. Swag!
What?
What are you doing?
I'm on HawkTV12.com.
HawkTV12.com?
Yeah, it's so cool. You can watch all the Hawk TV programs on here, and it has the TV guide and... Phew, that was close.
Chris is back with another game review, this time for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I'm not biased.
Followed by Ramon's reviews with another look at Sonic Unleashed.
What's up everyone, Chris here, and today I have a pretty important update about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. This game is hands down one of the top 3 Call of Duties for me. It's a combination of my childhood love for opening Pokemon card packs to get rare cards, and shooting games that I've grown to love as I got older. Now I mentioned in our first impressions video with Frank that my favorite part of the game is supply drops. For those of you who have missed it or do not play the game, supply drops are basically booster packs that can hold up to 3 items of 3 different types: weapons, gear, or reinforcements. Each item comes with a different rarity, enlisted being the most common, then professional, and then the most coveted rarity of them all, the elites. Now the news. Although supply drops are so much fun to open, they are a pain to obtain. But don't worry, because our prayers have been answered. Supply drops can now be bought as micro DLC packs. Although the amount you can purchase is currently limited, I'm sure no one is looking to spend over $380 on a video game all at once. Unless you're a big YouTuber, then we're all just really jealous. This small update has caused mass commotion in the Call of Duty community and has given trolls who hate the COD series something else to complain about. Many are calling this new feature a pay-to-win feature, but it's not. If it were pay-to-win, the supply drops would be giving out items that aren't available elsewhere and give an extreme advantage to players who purchase them. But we're not guaranteed a great item, it's only a chance. People need to get their facts straight before they get their panties in a bunch and troll away. But anyways, these supply drops have some special characteristics about them. Each will always have 3 items of 1 professional rarity or higher, so just like Pokemon cards where you're guaranteed a rare in each pack, it's just like that. Also, in these supply drops are exclusive costume pieces. Each of these costume pieces are really cool, like the Eco and the Whiteout. And thanks to the new characteristics of always having a weapon or an item of professional rarity or higher, the elite weapons are at the tips of our fingers. Currently, they're only available on Xbox platforms. However, we should be seeing them on PC and PlayStation in the near future. And I'm super excited for these, and I can't wait to purchase them on my PS4. Now let's kick it over to Rahman. Actually, remember last week?
That was horse shit!
Yeah, well, he's back, and for once, he's not angry. So here's Rahman with Rahman's reviews. Take it away, Rahman.
Hey everyone, it's Rahman. And instead of ranting today, I decided I'm gonna, review something, show that I know more about games than just getting angry and yelling at a camera and talking about the stuff I hated. So I decided to start out with with a game that I played a crap ton of lately, Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed was a game that was released both for the 360 and the PS3, as well as the Wii and the PlayStation 2. As what I usually do when I review games, let's start with the story. The story starts out, Sonic's on Eggman's space armada, fighting through robots, trying to catch Eggman. When he gets caught by this huge robot, you think it's over for him, and then suddenly he goes supersonic, involving a very high-speed chase after Eggman into what seems to be a dead end. And then Eggman does his best Dr. Wily impression and pretends to give up, trapping Sonic and pretty much sapping the Chaos Emerald's power to fire a giant laser to blow the Earth into multiple pieces to unlock Dark Gaia before it was awakened. Sound familiar yet? No? Play Sonic Adventure. Pretty much, Sonic now has to deal with putting the planet back together like a giant jigsaw puzzle. Oh yeah, and he turns into a werewolf every time the sun goes down. Which leads us into the gameplay. When you're not in the middle of a level, you're thrown into a hub world in up to 7 different continents, which are Alaska, Chunan, Empire City, Missouri, Apatos, Adabat, and last but not least, Eggman Land. When you're not, like I said, when you're not in the levels, you're in the hub worlds, where you can talk to the people and get a feel for it. I like these hub worlds a lot better than the ones in Adventure and in 06, because they're short and compact, but you still get the personalities of the people who live there, The people who live there represent their culture relatively well. I mean, with a lot of them, you can tell exactly what they were inspired from, like Spagonia. Spagonia is quite literally Italy, just with a different, name slapped on it. Adabat is Southeast Asia, and Chunan is obviously China. They don't even try to hide it. They call the level Dragon's Road. But as far as going into the levels, when you go into the levels, you either go in during the daytime or the nighttime. When you go in during the day, you have your usual high-speed chase. Sonic moves fast from point A to point B, and he now has full use of the boost feature that was introduced in Sonic Rush, but in 3 dimensions. A lot of the gameplay focuses on Sonic quick-stepping from left to right, so most levels have about 3 or 4 lanes for you to switch from. And it makes for some really good fast-action gameplay, and they decided to use the Hedgehog engine, meaning every once in a while, the game will go from a 3D perspective to 2D, so you have more of those high-speed platforming that you missed from Sonic 1. At night, it's a completely different story. Sonic turns into a werehog, and it gets very beat-em-uppy. Now, I hear a lot of people complain about this, but hear me out on this. Even though it's not really Sonic, it's still a solid beat-em-up, Like, there's nothing structurally unsound with the gameplay itself. It just doesn't seem to mesh as well. I personally enjoyed it, especially Shoryuken, those big guys, and just killing them with it. So much fun. Speaking of punching a lot of Dark Gaia's minions, there's also the fact that in the hub worlds at night, you can find people who are possessed. What you do, when you are performing an exorcism, first you have to bust out your trusty camera. Excuse me. You have to bust out your trusty camera and snap a picture of them. The flash snaps them out of it just enough for the demons to exorcise themselves, and all you have to do now is beat the living snot out of them. Once you do that, the exorcism is completed, and they'll thank you and give you rings or a chili dog. Depends. But yeah, day and night, the day and night gameplay is very much like day and night. The only problem I have with the 360 version is how you access the levels, which I'll get into a little bit later. Next, we're going to talk about the music. I have to say, even though it's not a live orchestra and it's a lot of MIDI formatted music, it actually sounds really, really good. I mean, the main theme, Endless Possibility, Dear My Friend for the end credits, the multiple level themes, I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've listened to Rooftop Run, Windmill Isle, Dragon's Road Daytime and Dragon's Road Nighttime. You know, all good stuff. I definitely recommend listening to the soundtrack. The audio itself, very, you know, every time you hit an enemy, it sounds like it hurts. And it's beautiful, you know. With me, if I'm hitting something, I like it to sound, look, and feel satisfying. And it does that very well. And, you know, the audio mixing, you can hear the characters over the music, but they're not overpowering it, and vice versa. You know, we don't have Sonic Adventure 2. Next thing I want to talk about is the system differences. Because the 360 and PS3 version were much different from the PS2 and Wii versions. In the 360 versions and the PS3, you got all the levels, you know, nothing wrong. However, in the Wii and PS2 versions, there were no hub worlds. You went level to level. While in the 360 version, you had to collect Sun and Moon medals. And believe me, those are hard to find. And it really drags down the gameplay of the 360 version. The Wii version and the PS2 version also have sectioned off boost. Instead of just holding the boost button to boost as long as you want, you would literally press it once, it would take up a section of the bar, and you would go for a set amount of distance with the boost. I'm on the fence about how I feel about it. It has its good points, you know. On the one hand, you're not wasting boost too fast. On the other hand, I kind of want to go crazy with the boost. You see my problem here? Moving on with the system differences, the PlayStation 2 and Wii versions actually have a lot of cut content. I mean, they cut out an entire, and I mean an entire continent from the PS2 version. There's no Empire City, which is supposed to be America. Those are pretty much it for the system differences, but last thing, and I hate ending on a bad note, but this is probably the best place to put this, I have to put it on things I hated. Honestly, I cannot stand the medal collecting in the 360 version. It really drags the game down, and honestly, you know, I just want to get on with the story, you know. With Sonic, it's supposed to be point A to point B, you know, let's do this, let's kick Eggman in the face and do Sonic stuff, right? And if it wasn't for the fact that I had to collect medals, this game would have I would have called this game perfect, to be honest with you. With the PS2 versions, I'm really salty about the cut content. That's pretty much all I have as far as hating it, except for one crucial detail that you see in both versions of the games. As fun as the Werehog was for me, there was too much of it. You know, when I play a Sonic game, I play it to play as Sonic. You know, the Werehog was cool and all, but we needed less of him. He took up a good 2/3 of the game. And I see that as a problem, you know, which they fix in Colors and Generations. Like I said, I love the game. I definitely recommend it. I'm not going to give it a score because I want you to get your own opinion from the facts that I've stated. Well, not facts, but, you know, from what I've stated, not really rely on a number. So that's all I have for this week. Stay tuned for news on the Apple Watch here in Today in Technology with Chris. I'm Rahman, and you guys have a good night.
What's up, Save Pointers? Chris again, here to bring you some tasty information about Apple's brand new smartwatch. On March 9th, BBC News informed many consumers about the price ranges for what the watches will be like, ranging anywhere from $350 to over $10,000! You heard me right, $10,000! Let's just hope this watch has the ability of giving back massages and has the capability of providing time travel for each consumer. Even though Apple does not promise any of those features, what they do promise is that this more expensive Apple Watch Edition will provide you with a sapphire crystal display and that will be surrounded by an 18-karat gold casing attached to a band that will definitely give off a striking complement to the device as a whole. That's going to be $17,000 for that. But those who don't feel like selling their car to afford this watch still have the option of buying a cheaper and original Apple Watch, or Apple Watch Sport. The Apple Watch Sport will be made of a lightweight aluminum and silver case that will include 5 different colors and be protected and have a protected display. The original Apple Watch will include a stainless steel case that will also provide a sapphire crystal display with a choice of 3 different leather bands. Fancy, huh? Now you're most likely wondering what this Apple Watch can do besides take all your money. This smartwatch will give users the ability of texting or calling whoever they please, whenever they please. The watch will include a small microphone and a built-in speaker. If you're one of those people who can't stand being interrupted by incoming calls, this watch will provide a feature. If you cover the watch with your hand, the call will become dismissed. Pretty helpful if you ask me. Siri also found her way inside this new smartwatch, providing assistance to all users with just 2 simple words, "Hey Siri," or by holding down the crown on the side of the watch. Having Siri on this device will provide consumers with the ability of sending voice messages to their friends or receiving directions while driving. With Apple's Fitness Watch, people will be able to track their physical activities, leading them to healthier lives. This watch will even tell users when they have been sitting down for a long period of time. Let's just hope this watch doesn't tell me how to live my life. No, this one will not. The watch will also support Apple Pay, which will replace your everyday debit and credit card purchases. All the user simply has to do is wave their watch in front of the in-store readers, making Americans lazier one wave at a time. Apple also announced their brand new 12-inch Retina laptop that has been said to have a higher resolution than the MacBook Air. They're claiming that this new laptop is the world's most energy-efficient notebook. This laptop is also the thinnest laptop to date, measuring at only 0.52 of an inch. This laptop will not acquire a built-in fan, so you might want to keep this thing off your lap during the summer. There will be only one port on this notebook called the USB-C, which will provide the machine with power, data, and an output to an exterior monitor or TV. The basic model of this laptop costs around $1,300 and will be released sometime early this April. Well, this has been Chris with your Today in Technology. See you guys all next time.
Hello, Save Pointers, and welcome back to the resurrection of Your Sony News. I am your host, Jose, and this week we'll be hitting all the marks on our PlayStation devices. This month, Sony has announced the March lineup of free games for all PlayStation Plus members. PlayStation 4 owners are getting 4 games this month: Odds World, New and Tasty, and Valiant Hearts, The Great War. But I did say 4, so PlayStation Vita owners get 2 games that are also cross-buy for the PlayStation 4. This includes Ollie Ollie 2, Welcome to Hollywood, and Counter Spy. PlayStation 3 owners are getting Papo and Yo and Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishment. The announcements for these games did come a few days late to the usual announcement, and rumors are going around that Dishonored for the PS3 was supposed to be on the lineup this month, but negotiations did not go as planned. Damn you, Bethesda! But Dishonored would have been a great game to have in my backlog instead of Sherlock Holmes. But nonetheless, we still have some killers hitting the PlayStation 4 this month. A new limited edition PlayStation 4 has appeared online, and it's breaking the internet, at least in Asia. There have been no reports about the new Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain limited edition PS4 coming to the West, but oh boy, would it be a mistake not to bring it. The PS4 is modeled red, black, and gold over Snake's red bionic arm, and the controller is the color of Snake's handgun and bears his unit logo. The legend himself, Hideo Kojima, has been teasing his fans for decades on the incoming finale of the Metal Gear Solid franchise, but this time he seems super serial. Hideo Kojima has explained that Phantom Pain is the last go-around on the series that ties up the loose ends on the epic Snake legacy. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain will hit stores on PlayStation 4 and 3, as well as Xbox One and Xbox 360 if you own that, on September 1st, and will hit the PC on Steam on September 15th. My body is ready. But is my mind prepared for Project Morpheus? The virtual reality headset that Sony has been working on is slated to come out early 2016, and the impressions other reviewers had at the Game Developers Conference only solidifies the future of virtual reality. Oculus Rift and Samsung's VR have been all making great impressions on the future of gaming, making you feel like Tony Stark behind the helm. Project Morpheus had an array of demos available at GDC 2015, each showcasing the possibilities of the VR future. I'm a believer in the storytelling and immersion that virtual reality can bring to the gaming, and I'm excited to see what can be changed on our gaming experience every day. I hope you're ready to take your mind and interactions into the world. Update 2.5 is coming later this month to the PlayStation Network, and it's coming packed with some great new additions. The long-promised app suspension, which will be included, keeps our apps running even after placing your system on rest mode. So when you go back to your gaming, it'll take place where you left off. Another great thing about this patch is the array of accessibility options that are being included. Text-to-speech, zoom, invert colors, larger text, bold text, high contrast, closed captioning, add to quick menu, and my personal favorite, the button reassignment. Finally, gamers will be able to change the button layout for all of their games to their preferred layouts. No longer will we be haunted by wonky controls, because now we can control it. Update 2.5 will be bringing a lot to the PlayStation 4 that is not seen on any other console. True control and accessibility are definitely big things about this update. That's all I have this week. My name's Jose, and I'll see you next week with more PlayStation news.
That's all the time we have for today. Happy gaming, Save Pointers!
We'll see you guys next time. Until then, we've reached the
The
Not
Save.
John Show.